Hi, welcome. My name is Dale McCluskey, and on this video, I want to spend a couple minutes and respond to recent challenges I've received by way of engaging in debate. One of these coming through Robert Haynes. Another one, okay, just happened by way of Balance Dog Trainer, Miracle Canine. Again, I left a response on one of the videos I had responded to as part of my series. And here's the thing, okay? When I talk about, I talk about the source of the problem in the dog training world. I understand I'm putting out very specific information regarding the problem at the very beginning by way of what defines a process, the role of the owner, the role of influence, and again, shining the light on the role of the dog owner the right way in terms of, again, how a dog's decision-making process is influenced and governed at the social level. And align all of it up using the parent-child relationship as the go-to example, which lines up almost exactly the same. And so again, understand that when I talk about, a process, that's the starting point. Now, when I talk about common ground, okay, or having the ability to be able to engage in a way that provides clarity so people can actually make sense. There has to be somewhat of a foundation there. So the common foundation is this idea that trains a learning-based exercise. I talk about the 4 quadrants. I talk about, the problem at the very beginning by way of motivating dogs to respond. When a relationship problem is already underway, when a dog has a level I call stinking thinking, okay? And assuming that those responses can be trusted. Understand that right away it's the jumping in point. That's problematic. And again, I talk about the solution by way of a intentional interaction-based method. And I even line all this stuff up. I even have my own study, okay, over 1,000 dogs and owners on my website. Again, showing, how the dots connect. And again, and then stepping back, considering the state of the dog training world, if you look at what's happening, it's unbelievable what's happening. And meanwhile, okay, all these trainers are not willing to even confront or look at what the real issue is. Well, the reason for that is they're already sold out to this idea. So they're not going to do that. But here's the thing about, and this goes into this whole thing about the debate issue for me, is number one, there has to be some sort of a starting point. Okay, so a situation involving Robert Haynes, where he actually talks about seeing dogs as sentient beings, basically humanizing dogs, totally dismissing the role of the owner when it comes to change that way, in terms of the owner's role to influence that by way of the social connection aspect of it. So understand, I'm very clear about that. Well, that's the starting point, okay? So there's really, for me, nothing to debate when someone has a totally different view of things. But again, I did a couple of videos to show how that still plays into a problem by way of response. This whole thing about, choices, about free will, okay? And getting into this whole thing about the jumping in point in terms of how change itself happens. So I'm very specific about all of it. So for me, a debate is about having a starting point, because understand that that's my focus. And so when I talk about even the situation involving, because it was thrown up to say, well, you're willing to debate with Ivan Belanoff, but, not me. Like, basically saying, well, that doesn't even line up. Well, here's the thing. The situation with Ivan Belanoff is unique in a way in terms of, again, part of my Flipping the Script series, going through talking about, again, all aspects of this idea, even from the point of, play-based, drive-based. So again, touching on that part of it there. And so, again, under fair usage, using one of his videos as a reference point. And here's the thing, the hypocrisy of all of it. I talk about this whole thing about censorship. Trainers not wanting to engage, not wanting to talk about the real issue, how that comes out through, again, issuing a copyright strike on the video that I use. I only use about 2 minutes of it to respond to, again, criticism, critique, okay? Specific information, okay? Following fair usage. But here's the thing, the same video used by Magic Canine extensively in a breakdown video, playing it, okay, responding to it, use like a lot of it, that's still up, right? Think about it. So I guess the problem here is that if you're not going along with the narrative, okay, the talking points, well, now it's a problem. Okay, but my response to that is, well, if people are really confident in what they're saying, they define themselves as, world renowned, best dog trainers on the planet, with the backdrop of trophies and everything else, well, you should be pretty confident. You shouldn't have to engage in copyright strikes. You should be able to respond directly to what someone like myself, a nobody, is saying. And then beyond that, you want to talk about the real issue. This is where the challenge is. Well, then you shouldn't have any problem at all of removing that copyright strike, because it's based on hypocrisy. And I'll be more than happy to come on to your podcast, and we'll have a real discussion. But again, when I talk about real discussion, guess where my focus is gonna be on? What defines a process? Okay, understand that. That's the focus right there. Connecting dots. Establishing in terms of change itself, how it's defined. The role of influence, motivating dogs the way trainers are doing at the very beginning, the assumptions they're making, lining all of it up. And so again, so I talk about debate. That's the whole thing with the Belanov situation, that, yeah, I'll be more than happy to engage, in terms of that, just to clear the air. Because again, the whole point is I believe in freedom of speech. If, again, the ability to be able to talk through, considering all the problems, freedom of speech, that's when it matters. Being able to actually engage, not be offended. Because here's the thing, I'm putting out specific information. If you watch my videos, all of them, you won't see me getting personal with these trainers. But here's the hypocrisy of it all. They're on social media all day long, getting very personal with each other. No problem with that. But again, you start to focus in on, okay, here's the real problem. Well, now I got a problem with it because maybe it interferes in their long-term marketing plan. But again, it's all about, again, understanding again. So again, I talk about the issue about debate. Here's the other take on it. Why, again, this is like the whole power structure, okay, of the dog training world. Then this goes into, again, I see a lot. Trainers coming into my social media, as soon as they look at the fact that, oh, Dale's got, 700 subscribers, I have, or they have like hundreds of thousands or millions, they just write that out. In fact, they mock about it. They scoff. They just make fun of it, because in their mind, they're, what defines who they are, that they're right, comes from the being elevated based on the current state of the dog training world, and that their popularity that way and making money off of this idea. Again, talk about how this idea, what it represents, just exploiting everything in spite of, okay, all the dogs being blamed, destroyed, all the problems inherent in the dog training world. That's how twisted this has become. And so we're at that level now. So the power structure of that, to say, well, this is why one request from a balanced dog trainer to have a debate was, submit your information to this so-and-so person, and might have you on for a friendly discussion, trying to control. It's all about control, right? But the control, it's basically a illusion when it's based on a lie. Okay, understand that. And why I'm saying that is, as things continue to move on, because the whole point of everything is to say is, I'm not interested in debate. I'm interested in putting out the information for the public. The dog training community is a whole different, monster here. Understand that all these trainers upset with what I have to say. Well, of course you're going to be upset with what I have to say, because they're the problem. Okay, understand that why the dog training world's in the state that it's in is because of the fact that these trainers have what they're marketing, what they've embraced, a failure to confront what the real issue is. So, I'm not interested in engaging that way. Now, I'm putting out the information. I understand the response of the dog training community to that information, based again on what they've sold out to. Well, my audience, really, who I'm reaching out to, is the public. To say, hey, pay attention here. This is the issue. You can connect all the dots, apply common sense, and here's what's happening. And so, but as things move along, here's the whole power structure issue about debate, is things are going to continue to unravel. People are going to be these situations involving the Dog Daddy and Zach George. You've seen all these things, that's no accidents or coincidence. All these situations piling onto the Jeff Gelman situation, balanced dog trainers piling on each other, going after each other on social media, debating about the role of remote collars, even as they're being banned. Look at it. breed specific bans, force free movement taken over. So here's the thing, how I see it in terms of, from my thing, because understand there's a total difference. Understand it's a total difference between what I market as a process and what these trainers are marketing. So that's right there, there's a problem, okay? Understand that I show that line. There is truth, there is a standard, that's it. And so these trainers are out there, playing this rigged game. And so, but here's the thing, talk about the power structure part of this, the arrogance of it all, the fact that these trainers have actually got to a level where they believe they're not even accountable. Like you can just keep on, life is good, this is gonna keep on going, and everything's all coming apart at the seams. So my attitude is, well, let it come apart at the seams. It's a sad situation for what's happening, but the power structure part of this is such that I'm not interested in debating like that, engaging that way. I'm putting out the information. And as things continue to unravel, well, guess what's going to happen? Okay, people are going to start to really take a very serious look at the information I put out, start to get wise to it, and say, hold on here a second. That's what's going to happen. Okay, so I'm not concerned about needing to debate, needing to submit some information in to maybe be on someone's podcast. That doesn't concern me. I'm continuing to do what I've always done. I continue to help dogs and owners the right way. I'm raising my voice to the real problem in the dog training world. I understand fully the response of the dog training community to what I'm saying, but look at what they're doing. So that's it. People can make their own, decision. They make an informed decision based on the information I put out. Because understand something here, nothing is hidden. People can, and this is what happens, people are questioning my motives, okay? And you see this a lot. You see trainers say, well, Dale is just trying to be popular because, or Dale is egomaniac. Quite opposite, okay? Understand, you look at the dog training world and you talk about the issue of narcissism. Like, really? I'll do some videos on, how this idea itself, aligns with this whole issue of narcissism in so many ways. It's unbelievable. Talk about what's happening. So anyway, all to say that this whole thing about debate is, and don't get me wrong, I'll go on a platform and I'll engage, talk through the real issues, in a way in which allows me to, again, to voice, what's going on, connect dots. But with all these balanced dog trainers and let them do what they're doing now. They're just like doing their thing. They think life is good. Things are all coming apart at the seams. Let it. It's a sad reality. Because I've said this a long time ago. Things have to get a lot worse for people to start to pay attention to what's happening. The power structure, what's going on. These trainers are totally caught up in their popularity. And things are a mess. Thanks for watching.